Hi, welcome back to McCarthy Performance. This video will contain me decking this hemi engine here. And I'm using my BHJ True Deck system. And if you notice, that's been modified and it's on my channel if you want to see how I did that or not. It works quite well. It was a little bit of work with a bunch of manual machines, but seems to be repeatable and seems to be pretty damn close. So it's another video of me decking a block. I cover a few things maybe I didn't cover in other videos. We'll probably be getting on to doing some other things. I got the camshaft for the 350 now. I still have to finish the AFR heads by putting seats in heads and doing a valve job. I will be building the 383 shortly here. So there'll be other things on my channel, but this is what I got for this week. So I hope you enjoy it and get on with the video. That's how I get hollow tube dowels out. If they're a split tube, then you can just tap the sides in, and I usually replace them, but these are solid, and you can see just the tap bites in there. You don't have to screw around with them. I've got a dowel puller. I obviously on a hollow dowel, you don't have very good luck with a dowel puller unless you stuff something in the middle of it, and this is the best way that I found to take them out. So we're decking a hemi, and I seen a video online. Of course, you know, everybody's got their own opinions, and I most certainly have mine. Somebody was showing the head and it was way off, and he said, well, the head's way off because it was leveled with a level. This ain't no carpenter level. This thing's very accurate, and if you treat them right and they're set up right, they'll do a good job. Now, I use this for just roughing the deck in, and I'll go off this with a dial indicator. But this is a very accurate level, and if you treat them right, they'll treat you right. I guess that's kind of what I want to say about that. Okay, before we measure the deck and get carried away with how true it is and everything being relative to the True Deck plate here, I'm going to go over it with a longboard body sanding board with a piece of 80 grit sticking on it. So it'll make sure that there's no burrs that are brought up, because a burr can throw it off a couple thousandths easily, so we're going to go over it. Just to make sure that we got all the gasket material and anything else that's laying on the deck that could possibly bring up a false reading. So we'll wipe that all down. And if you got a relatively clean hand, this is about the best thing to wipe off something with. A towel you might not feel a burr, but this will actually feel, and you can pick up a little bit of material. An old machinist taught me that a long time ago. Your hands get dirty, but you know, it works. So now we'll get our levels and we'll see just where we're at. One I don't take out very often, and I don't. You got to be very careful with this one. Careful with any of them, of course, but this one here, they give you an idea how accurate it is if you read that. That's pretty damn accurate. So, you know, if you're using a carpenter level on a cylinder head, then yeah, there's better levels out there. But to say that a level can't get something flat enough to mill it, if everything's true to the table that you're measuring, and the table's true, I should say, you're gonna get a good. This is a decent level, but this is on the extreme end of things. I believe it's 5/10 within a foot. I'm going to show you just how much this level indicates that we're off 1 point. This one is reading completely level. Now I'll move it. The level is now reading 3 points that way, and this level hardly moved just an edge of the ball, you know, the bubble, I should say, just the edge of the bubble, not ball. Okay, now I'm going to crank it back, put it in 0. I turned the lights off so you wouldn't see a glare. Okay, that is reading, that's reading level with this one. That one hardly ever moved. So 5/10 that way, 3 and 5, 1.5, 1.5 thousandths that way. This didn't move. So, and that's just the deal with the levels I'm just showing you. And if you ever have a level and you want to check it, the way I do it is you set it on a surface, and it don't really matter if it's level or not, and you count how many points the bubble is one way to the other, and you turn the level. So like this one here, we turn it this way. This level's off about 1 point. So there's an adjustment on this, and you would split the difference. Okay, so this way, it's reading, this one reads slow, 1.5. So it's, well, it came back to 1. So it's one mark off the bubble off one way. This one's right on the money. I always check this one. I just checked it. This one, the fluid and everything in these is a little different. This one moves really quick, really fast. So when you make your adjustments, you got to turn it and wait, and turn it and wait. And there's an adjustment on this one right here. There's an adjustment on this one right there. This one's a double nutted affair, and once you adjust this and you tighten it, you're going to want to make sure that it don't change. Probably a lot of the machinists already know that. So now we're going to sweep off the back of the gauge and see if the gauge is the deck's level with the gauge. We're going to go by the gauge, but if it's a big difference, we're going to split it, because like I said, we're taking the minimum off the decks. The guy just wanted it cleaned up. So I'm willing to split the difference, then put the deck too far down and then have to use a thicker head gasket. That's just, we're not going to do that. So we'll get going on it. Levels out there, but to say that a level can't get something flat enough to mill it, if everything's true to the table that you're measuring, and the table's true, I should say, you're going to get a good job. But like I said, I use it for roughing in. We're going to just take a little bit off of this, and of course what I always do is, before I get going, I always want to make sure this true deck plate you know, should always be put back in its box, and it shouldn't get banged around. Unfortunately, this one gets, it's been banged around. I've had it for quite a few years now, and I should take better care of it. But it's I've mistakenly dropped it a couple times off the table, on the table, and I mean, I haven't dropped it completely on the ground, but anyways, there's a little nick there in it, and I stoned that back. But this is a piece of 1200. And I'm just going to go over it a little bit and polish it. Make sure there ain't nothing up sticking up high. And that should be plenty good enough. And it'll tell me if I'm high anywhere on the true deck surface. Like I said, that's unfortunate there, but it is what it is. And I've done hundreds of blocks with this plate, and like I said, it's just over the years, it's gotten dinged in that. Just setting it on the table, getting it bumped around. It's just, like I said, it should be taken care of a little bit better, but you know, what can I say? If it's relevant to this true plate, I've got like I said, I took a minimum off. I've got the target size marked on the true deck plate. So we're going to set up, do a light cut after assessing whether this side hopefully is a little closer than the other, and that happens. It's not uncommon to find the decks not completely relevant to the cam and crankshaft center line. So we have this dialed in, and the difference between these two and the block was about 3 thousandths. So I've got everything set where I want it to be. You know, getting back to it, like I said, this customer did not give me a target size to shoot from, so he just said, cut the minimum. You know, that's what I want. That's what I'm doing. So we could take out the indifference in the deck angles in zero, have it come out completely relevant to the plate. But right now we're kind of bumping it a little bit in favor of not taking any more than we have to. So I'll do a light cut, like I said before, and then I'll measure the deck surface from here to here and see how it registers to the plate. Now on the hemis, because the cam tunnel is so much higher than the BHJ plate, I made that adapter. It's in my videos. It's in one of my videos anyways. If you want to see how I made that. I don't know if BHJ makes a new plate. This is an older plate. I bought it 20 years ago, so I'm sure they probably have it for the hemi now. So I've got, I swept the surface area. I'm good with where I'm at. We're gonna make a light cut and see how it's acting. Now, because these things have that peak at the top, there's a little bit of a tab up here that the mill is going to hit that, and it's going to miss almost all of it till about that point. 6 inches where it's just going to miss it. So, but I'll fire it up, and I've got everything where I want it. So we'll fire up the mill and get her rolling. So we're just missing pretty much all the deck, and we're just going to pick up on this edge here. I got the wheel set at about 2 thousandths down. I'll make a Okay, so we're going to bump this up 1/1000th of an inch. We're going to cut it. Hopefully she cleans up because one side of the block is a little taller than the other. So we had to roll the block back over to the other side, and the reason being is because this area here was low on the other side, and it wouldn't clean up to where this side was already. Trying to take the minimum off always seems to bite me in the butt. A lot of times if I think it's not cutting good, I'll add like 3/1000 more to the first side and then roll it over, but the first side cut really good, you know, and it wasn't very far off from the plate. Not horrible, let's put it that way. So now I got the block rolled back over to the first side. I dial indicated this in. It was within 1/1000th, actually less than 1/1000th, where I indicated it. Swap it from here to here. Now I'm bringing the mill across it again and taking the difference off this side. The difference off this side is about 2.5/1000. And I'm hoping like heck it cleans all the way up. I've got the deck marked, but at this point, you know, every once in a while this happens. I've done enough of them to know better, but sometimes I forget and then I get reminded. So we're going to let this finish cutting. I'll get back and show you the job when it's finished. Very slow machine. A lot of guys hate these machines. I don't know why. I sharpen my own head. This thing does the job I want it to do. It'd be nice if it was faster. Yes, I know you can buy inserts and you can speed it up and it'll cut faster. I don't feel like spending the money, okay? I've spent quite a bit of money on different machines as of late, and I just don't have it to spend it on this machine. It's just one of these deals where you set it and you forget it. You let it do its thing and you find something else in the shop. I've got 2 mills, and there's a reason for that. And the reason is the second mill I got a hell of a deal on it. And the first reason is why that I got the second mill is because this thing is slow. So I'm not hung up on one machine. While this is cutting something, somebody comes in, wants heads cut, I do it on the Burco. So I cut all the decks on the Storm. I do everything on the Burco. If it's a long inline 8 or a 6 flathead or flatheads, I'll set them up and cut them on this machine because I have a bench, it has a fixture, it's really easy to do manifolds, some manifolds on it, and flatheads because I have a fixture to hold them. But other than that, pretty much 95% of all the heads get done on the Burco. So we'll let her keep cutting and we'll get back to it. Well, there it is. It's all done. Just needs a bath now. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. It don't cost anything. And that'll be it for this one.